So I titled this video, End of Year Blues. How are you feeling? Really? Because I know this is supposed to be the most joyous time of year, but particularly this year, I'm having a really hard time connecting to that. What I've been feeling for the last about 2 weeks or so has been stress, anxiety, fear, disappointment, discouragement, feeling like a failure. All these feelings I've been trying to sort through for the last 2 weeks, and initially I was just like, oh, I'm just having, an emotional time. I saw family for Thanksgiving. It was a long drive. There's some things that happened during the drive that were very stressful. So I thought I was just coming down from that. And then, I was starting to date somebody and that didn't work out the way that I was hoping it to. And so that was kind of getting me kind of in this downward spiral. But all of a sudden, it's like before I knew it, I was waking up every day in dread and in anxiety and in kind of feeling bad. And then I kind of dug into it thinking, what is actually going on? And this is really what I want to talk to you about in this video, is to figure out where you are emotionally at this moment and then give you a couple of tips, really build a list with you of what to do when you find yourself in this kind of downward spiral, in this downward mode, feeling like your emotions are kind of pulling you downward. What can you do? Give you a list for that. And then how you can do, because what it came down to me is I feel also this is the first year I'm really dealing with like this end of year blues. And it's so interesting that I am choosing to be so harsh on myself and to be such a harsh critic for myself about this last year. It has been a more challenging year for me. And so initially I kind of just had this like glob of a feeling around like the whole year, right? I felt about the whole year was just kind of a, I don't want to say waste, but it kind of felt that way. I felt like it was negative. It was discouraging. It was a loss. It was a failure. This is how I felt about my 2023. And it's really the first time that I'm facing this. And it might be because I've just set myself more particular goals that I feel like I failed at. But get a little bit more into the video to see how I unpacked that, how I chose to then think about my 2023 differently that actually served me, and then how to look forward into 2024. What do I want? What kind of goals do I want to set for myself? And what can I put into place to make sure that this year, I would say next year, 2024, I'm not going to have these end of year blues. Well, I might still, but then I'll have the tools to know what to do about it, right? But just to set myself up in the best, in the strongest way. I've really never done that. I always like to set myself like goals, visions, where do I want to be next year? But then I forget about them very quickly. And I kind of choose little things here and there over, every kind of month. But I've never had this set of rules for myself in place, right? Disciplines of how will I approach the year differently this time around. And then make sure you stick around, because then I talk about something very important. It's about connecting to your why again, to your mission, to like what gets you out of bed. Because that's what I was lacking these last couple of weeks. It was so hard to get myself out of bed. It was so hard. Well, for me, really the hardest part is usually like afternoonish, when I feel like the whole day is already done. And then I'm taking stock in my head going, Christine, what have you actually accomplished? What have you actually done? Is there anything that you have done that will actually move you forward on these visions, on these goals, on these dreams that you have? It's almost like, oh, I have like 2 more weeks of this year. Can I somehow pull off this crazy mission of like actually accomplishing what I set out to do? And the answer is probably no. I can't. But at the same time, how can I then set myself up for the next year? How can I set myself up so that I can hit the ground running? And more than anything, how can I set myself up so I don't lose that momentum again, right? Because I will be taking some time off. I will be taking a good 8 to 10 days that I will be with family, where I won't be focusing on my business, on my career. And this is kind of the number one goal and focus I'm going to have for the first 3 months of my year next year. And so it's like, how can I build this momentum now, get this rolling, get this going, write myself something to remember, something I can read every single day, to where then it's easier for me to connect again, so that when I'm back here in Austin, in my own space, starting my next year, I will be ready. I will know where to go. I will know why I'm getting out of bed every morning. And then at the very end, I will leave you with one golden nugget. This is something I found while reading through old journals, which I love doing. And it's just a very inspiring message that kind of pulls it all together. So, you ready? Let's get into it.